Ever wondered why some of the smartest people you know seem to, well, prefer being alone? Today, we're going to dig into the fascinating psychology behind intelligence and solitude. And trust me, the answer is probably not what you think. Just think about it for a sec. You know that person, the one who's super brilliant, incredibly quick-witted, but they just don't seem to love big crowds. They're not into constant chatter, and a lot of the time, they just choose to be by themselves. And because of that, they often get hit with some pretty harsh labels, right? People call them rude because they're not big on small talk, or they'll say they're arrogant or just plain antisocial. But is that really what's going on here? Well, that's not even close to the full picture. Actually, psychology tells a completely different story. What often looks like some kind of social weakness is, in reality, a sign of incredible mental strength. Okay, so let's dive into our first big reason. It all starts with this need to protect their mental energy. See, for a mind that's always firing on all cylinders, quiet isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential. Think of it like this. For a brain that's constantly processing, a crowded, noisy place is like having a dozen apps open that are just draining your phone's battery. All that stimulation is exhausting. Solitude, on the other hand, that's the charging station. It's where they get the space to protect that energy and really operate at their best. And this all boils down to a core psychological principle. Deep, meaningful thinking requires very little external stimulation. If you want to analyze, reflect, and connect complex ideas, your brain needs quiet. So it's not about shutting people out. It's about creating the perfect environment for the mind to do its thing. And this mental space, it's more than just quiet. It's like a workshop for the mind. Solitude is an empty space. It's the very place where creativity and focus are fueled. You know, neuroscience actually has a name for this. It's called the default mode network. This is a brain state that kicks in when we're in a quiet, restful state. You know, just alone with our thoughts. It's basically the brain's natural brainstorming mode, where all these surprising insights and new ideas just seem to bubble up out of nowhere. So that default mode network, which gets switched on by solitude, becomes the engine for all those amazing aha moments. It's how we finally connect the dots on a really tough problem, or get that sudden clarity on something that's been bugging us for weeks. And hey, this isn't some new idea. Just think about the great inventors, writers, and thinkers throughout history. So many of them actively sought out isolation. Not because they hated people, but because they knew that to create something truly meaningful, they had to choose clarity over constant noise. But okay, what about the social part? This is where the biggest misunderstandings always seem to happen. It's not about being antisocial. It's about being selectively social. It's about valuing real depth over the shallow back and forth of small talk. This quote just nails it perfectly. The issue isn't a fear of people. It's an aversion to those meaningless, draining interactions that just don't go anywhere. So what's being avoided is all that surface-level stuff. The small talk, the endless need for social validation, and instead the focus shifts to what they truly value. Deep connections, meaningful conversations, and just a few really strong bonds. It is quality over quantity, 100%. And at the end of the day, this all comes from a place of real inner confidence. You see, highly intelligent people often have a much lower need for other people's approval. They don't need to fill every moment of silence with chatter just to feel like they belong. And that inner confidence points us to our final key idea. Far from being a weakness, solitude is actually the training ground for building some serious emotional independence and resilience. Now, this is a really critical distinction. A lot of people see silence as this awkward thing they need to escape with distractions. But highly intelligent people, they often do the exact opposite. They don't run away from their own thoughts. They sit with them, learn from them, and use that quiet time productively. So how does that work? Well, it's kind of like a process. First, you have to embrace silence and get comfortable just being inside your own head. From there, you start to master self-regulation, managing your emotions without needing something external to distract you. And the result of all that? You build true independence. You become this calm, grounded, self-directed person. And when that happens, solitude completely transforms. It stops being something to fear, and it becomes this incredible source of inner strength. It's a tool for growth. So let's bring this all together. If you're someone who prefers spending time alone, listen up. It does not mean something is wrong with you. It doesn't make you weird or antisocial. It just means your mind is wired a little differently.
When you boil it all down, it's about a series of conscious choices. It's choosing silence over noise. It's choosing depth over drama. And it's choosing clarity over chaos. This isn't about avoiding the world. It's about actively creating the best environment for your brain to thrive.
Which leaves us with one last thing to think about. The next time you feel that pull towards quiet, towards being alone, just ask yourself, is this some weakness you need to fix, or is it actually your mind's secret superpower, giving you exactly what you need to think, create, and truly shine?